Hello, I've had a question from Michael and he was asking about a lens for travel for his Nikon. Although there's a similar line within the Canon range, there are some differences in lens availability. Basically, I don't really like the actual kit lens. I really don't like traveling around with an 18 to 50 that has a aperture of f5.6. I just think that's just not fast enough. Now myself, I like this lens. This is the Sigma 17 to 50. This lens actually surprised me because it is beautiful, the quality is amazing. The difference between this and the Art 18 to 35 is not noticeable in real life photography. You struggle to notice a difference, magnifying them up to 200%, let alone in real life images. Now, some people consider the 18 to 200 or even the 18 to 300, but there is a price to pay for super zooms. First of all, again, they have a minimum aperture, or a maximum aperture rather, of f5.6, which is just a bit too slow really for me. They're big, they're very heavy, and we'll try to guess what lens we will need, and we think we need a greater range just in case of this, just in case of that. But no matter what happens, we're always going to find ourselves in situations where we're caught with the wrong lens on the camera. Even if we have a 17 to 50, we might wish we had a ultra wide or a longer 200mm lens. Myself, one reason I like this lens is because not only is it a 17 to 50 2.8 lens, it also has image stabilization. The latest lenses have even more stabilization than this. Some of them claim 3 or 4 stops, but this can easily stabilize a couple of stops. So if you compare this to, say, taking a standard lens, be it a 35 1.8 or a 50 1.8, it's only just over a stop slower, and that stop of light can be made up with a slower speed because it has image stabilization. So that's great when you're traveling. However, it is nice to have a small prime lens, because when you're out walking about in the evenings or whatever, not only it's a little bit faster, but it's also smaller and lighter, because this is fairly heavy. In comparison to the Nikon 1755, which is a beautiful lens, I found that I never used that one, and I always use this one because of the image stabilization, but more because the Nikon 17 to 55 is ridiculous in size. It really is. It's just as big, if not bigger, than the 24 to 70. It's ridiculous for a crop sensor lens, and it really doesn't offer. It offers an extra 5mm of range, but it doesn't even offer what this lens offers in terms of the image stabilization. Another lens that I'd recommend for Nikon users is the 18 to 70 3.5 4.5 lens. You can get them very cheap, under £100 online. They're very light. It's a very good quality lens. It gives you that extra reach because being up to 70, which is an effective field of view of 105, you get that extra bit of reach without any more size. It's slightly smaller than this and a fair bit lighter. The only issue with that lens, it does bow the images a little, but again, if you're using Lightroom or in-camera correction, that will correct it anyway, so it's not a problem at all. It's very sharp for what it is, and it just gives you that little bit extra light transmission than the slower kit lens. So I'd recommend either of these two. And this one, as compared to, say, the Nikon 70 to 55, you can get these for around £200, £220, brand new. The Nikon lens is new. They're still 3-4 times that price, and even used, they're 2 or 3 times that price. So this is not a great deal of money to be carrying around with you when you're away on holiday. So myself, I'd recommend something like this, and either a fast prime, and that will be enough. Because if you try and cover all bases, you're going to end up going with a bag full of lenses, and you know, photography is not really much fun when you're walking around with a heavy bag that becomes cumbersome and you begin to think, should I leave it at home? So anyway, there you go, 17 to 55, I think very good travel lens. I would also consider the 18 to 70, which has other advantages, being lighter and cheaper and still very, very good quality. See you next time, bye.